Welcome back to Newsnight. The multi-party charter says the largest party will represent the bloc if it successfully unseats the ANC in the 2024 general elections. In fact, the Democratic Alliance has reaffirmed its commitment to the pact, saying working with the ANC or EFF is not an option. DA party leader John Steenhuisen says the next step is to get more opposition-minded parties onto the project. The parties have signed a declaration ending their two-day convention earlier this evening. Our reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones was there.
When we announced the path we wanted to go on in April, many people were naysayers. They said we'd never get it right. But here we are, we've signed an agreement today, which is focused on not just getting the ANC out of office, but putting on the table a workable alternative for the many problems that South Africans face across the board, from unemployment to crime to poverty and to hunger. And I think this is a very positive step, and I'm very excited at the maturity that has prevailed over the last 2 days.
And what are, of course, the objectives of how a member is brought on, and who are the potential parties? Who did you extend the invitation to?
We've sent the invitation out to any party that shares the values and principles that are set out very clearly in the document. And those thresholds would need to be met before you came and joined the pact. And what was most importantly is that it said not just subscribe to, act accordingly to. So if you are in government and you've been corrupt, if you are not governing according to the book, and if you are deploying cadres, that is going to be a very difficult threshold for you to get over, to get into this particular organization. But really would like organizations like Rise Mzansi, BOSA, the ACDP and others to come on board. This really is South Africa's best shot at unseating the ANC, and it's not a time now for the Pollyanna politics of personal fiefdoms and the like. It's about putting South Africa first, and we now have a path to victory for the country.
Many may say that you would have needed the numbers of the parties representing the black core majority vote, such as the ANC and the EFF as well, of course, and the Patriotic Alliance, who speak on mainly behalf of the coloured communities and South Africans at large as well. Do you feel as though that you are ready to, take on these political giants such as the ANC and the EFF and potentially unseat the ANC as well?
Absolutely. There's 27 million voters who didn't vote in the last election. The ANC received just over 5 million votes. If we could just break into 10% of those voters who've not voted or have not registered to vote and inspire them to be able to come out, and we can do it. We don't need to get into bed with parties that don't share your values and principles. It's very difficult to understand what the PA is doing. They flip-flop from one day to the next. One day Mr. McKenzie's in bed with the ANC, the next he's trying to chummy up to the DA, then he wants to get back into bed with the DA, then he wants to form his own pact. It's a mess. It's a haphazard mess. We need stable coalition partners who share the values and principles, who are committed to the principles of good, clean, accountable government, and who want to fix South Africa. Those are who we're looking for, and I have no doubt that as South Africans see the momentum here, they see the maturity shown here, they see the progress that has been made, it's going to unleash an excitement to get more people to come and register to vote, and more people to turn out for the opposition parties in the election next year. And that's going to be the edge.
Take us through the 1% threshold. We've seen this unfolding in municipalities where a party like Al Jama'ah fielded Kabelo Kwamanda, and he's literally now the mayor as well. As the multi-party charter for South Africa, you seem to be having a different view to this kind of move.
Not at all. We've agreed very clearly these are separate matters. The parliamentary process will unfold with those parties there. I'm very confident that the parties that are part of this particular charter, as well as those that are yet to join us, will get well over the threshold because they'll be well rewarded. In fact, we need them to get over the threshold because we need to grow the vote. To be able to ensure that we get that majority to be able to form a government. It's not good if we fall short of it. So we need parties to get way over that threshold. But I do think, particularly at the local government level, there is a requirement for some form of stability. Johannesburg is completely fragmented, and it's led to the instability there. And who suffers in that instability? It's the people on the ground.
Just again, in April, you came up with this vision, of course, in the form of the Moonshot Pact. But at the party's Federal Congress, you said you would treat this as your KPA, but most importantly, as an important project to spearhead a different precedent in the political fraternity of South Africa as well. well, if this were not to happen, that you unseat the ANC in 2024, what would this mean for your political career? Would you resign?
No, because this is the whole formation of the pact was the KPA. Are we able to get the opposition around the table, forget the egos and to come out with something new for South Africa and exciting? Well, today we've signed that agreement, despite the fact that many people said it would never happen. We now have a charter agreement made up of a variety of parties that have left their egos at the door and come up with a common program of action. I think when you judge leaders is on the outcome of the election results, and certainly I will expect to be judged just like every other leader on the outcome of that election, and that will determine whether you stay or whether you go, and that's how you're judged. So I have no doubt that the DA is going to grow substantially into this next election as more and more voters rally to our banner and who see us being a solid, stable anchor in any particular coalition.